We are being told that Russia is losing in Ukraine. It cannot sustain momentum. It cannot break through. It's losing men and it is losing kit. Yet apparently that very same Russia is about to steamroll across Europe and invade Britain by the summer. Okay, right now then, we're being sold Schrödinger's Russia. That's a Russia that is far too weak to actually succeed in Ukraine, but also so strong it's going to take over the whole of Europe. Guys, in this video we're going to look at the hypocrisy of the European elites. We're going to look at the American agenda as well. I've got some great films for you, and also I've got a deal for you, but it's not my deal. It's an even better deal than my deal, and I'm going to lose money on it. Very briefly, that deal is this one here. But look, don't take my deal. When you see my video in the middle for ground news, I'll get you 40% off. But look, I'm going to lose money on this, guys. I've just seen on their webpage at the very top. If you click that, you get the same one I'm doing, but you're going to get 50% off. What's that? I'm losing money. Yeah, my loss is your gain. Use ground news. It helps you with your biases, helps you win the argument at the Christmas dinner table with your mentalist sister like mine. I'm talking about mental people then. Hamish the Breton Gordon, a former colonel in the British Army, absolute warmonger, a bit like Tobias Ellwood and a bit like Keir Starmer. All these people are pushing for young white men to go to war in Russia. They've got nothing left. They've bankrupted our countries, guys, and we're going to have to pay for it. And if you think your sons and daughters aren't going, I'm about to tell you that we've got bigger problems than you realise. Look, getting Britain ready for war is the only hope of peace, and it's a job for us all. Let's listen to this dickhead then.
This is the biggest moment for Europe for decades, at least, when it comes to conflict. The question then is, are you on the side of the Ukrainians or on the side of the Russians? And what we've got with Reform is a party that is pro-Putin.
That's not true.
Or Putin neutral. Well, let's just test that, because the UK and France and now Germany are leading the coalition of the willing. That is about 35 countries that are there drawing up plans to help defend and secure the peace in Ukraine. There is no way on earth that the UK could be part of that configuration with Nigel Farage as Prime Minister.
And by the way, the reason you shouldn't follow Hamish, not only is he a warmonger, but he's a bloody idiot. That flag is upside down. And a contrasting article here by David Shipley in The Telegraph then that says patriots should not fight for the British state. And what he says in this article is that the contract that the government has to protect us has been broken by the massive influx of immigration. And this pretty much says all, doesn't it? Look, you're banned from social media, you homophobe. You're fired from your job, you racist. I was fired from my job, by the way, for questioning diversity in the British military. Your bank accounts are cancelled, fascist. Come on, we're going to war with Russia. And of course, dudes like me turn around and say, I'm not going, I hope they kill you. Yeah, fact. And then we're called traitors for it. And that's the problem that we're facing here in the UK, guys. And I reported on this a long time ago, guys. One of the reasons I got sacked actually from defence was because I was calling out the Royal Air Force on its illegal and discriminatory diversity inclusion policies. Applicants seeking to join RF described as useless white male pilots in a bid to hit impossible diversity targets. Remember, there was a group captain, Lizzie Nicole, that actually left the service because of this, because she was forced to bring in minorities and women ahead of young white men. And the truth is, they want these young white men to go and fight for them now. Have a look at this advert from the German army. And as I said here, look, oh look, white people in military recruitment ads. There's a novelty. Apologies for the swearing. And this bit of hit film here actually lasts for 9 minutes. This is them trying to get you to join. I'm struggling to see the black dude at the moment. Maybe it's just me. No, there's a woman. Oh, there's white people again. Oh, more white people. Not many immigrants in that, or some penguins, I suppose. But they don't really count, do they? Someone with a nose ring, not really suited to military service, but they're bringing conscription, of course, in Germany and of course in France. And what they're calling it, guys, is voluntary conscription. I'm not too sure how that really works out. Kind of a bit of an oxymoron there, surely. Of course, young girls from Ukraine out dancing across Europe whilst the Ukrainian men and the Russian men are being killed, as we know. It's pretty horrendous. And of course, this will be our sons and daughters soon. If you allow your government to convince you that we do actually need to go to war with Russia. So why are they telling us that that is the case? Well, firstly, they really want to go to war with Russia, probably to break up the country, to take apart its mineral wealth. That's normally what happens when you're bankrupt. And I think pretty much we're all bankrupt right now. Hence, we're bringing in the immigrants to boost the GDP to try and get more investment into the country. They realise we've got a birth rate problem. it's not being hidden. We know what's going on. They're just not saying it, of course, because the politicians don't want to admit they're wrong. But look, what happens here, unfortunately, is we get people like Kaja Kallas here, and she's saying basically they're not even opening dialogue with Russia anymore.
I can't say it publicly here, but I have managed to convince some countries to not have meetings with Putin. We really need to reach out to the third countries all the time to explain what is at stake. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they have much stronger ties with Russians. I don't know why, because usually we are giving them much more money. We are the biggest trading partner, so far larger than Russia, but somehow they still believe.
Well, probably because Moscow and China and some other countries as well have a lot of investment in our capitals, of course, by buying property and other such things. And of course, we can't really not speak to them because of the fact, you know, they own a lot of where we live. Whilst we're here, probably worth having a look at Christmas in Moscow, isn't it, really, with a nice fair there. I'm not seeing any of those diversity barriers, or what we call the pillars of Islam. Looks pretty sweet. Doesn't really look like much of a security threat there at all, does it? Isn't that strange? Because conversely, in Birmingham, it looks like this.
I'm just beside our new HVM bollards here on New Street. We've installed them to help protect and make our city centre safer, ensuring that you can go around your business and shopping and enjoy yourself. We are installing a large number of these right across the city centre, as well as in other parts of the city, alongside our new CCTV and other programmes like our new community safety officers. This is all part of a push to make sure that people are safe in our city.
I want you to have a look at this guy here. Just have a quick look at him, all right? Just have a look at this particular person right here and maybe hear the way he speaks. Is this what British men have become? I mean, the level of soy weakness from that man there, I'm just absolutely staggered. I don't know. This is what we're doing now. We're normalizing the fact that we're having barriers around to stop ourselves being killed by the immigrants that we're being brought in. Yeah, I like Rich Knighton. I actually interviewed for his personal staff officer position. I rejected it mid-interview in London. Many reasons. Really nice guy, head of the entire military. But listen to what's going on here.
Right now, the chances of Russia attacking the UK is considered by our analysts to be remote. That means less than 5%. But that is the same chance of Liverpool winning the Premier League.
Less than 5%, but we're going to try and go to war with Russia. We're going to mobilise everyone. We're probably going to go through conscription again. I've said this is going to happen, guys.
It's like someone's trying to destroy England. It's literally like they've got a concerted effort to destroy England, and they're getting away with it.
Yeah, and what happens over there?
It's really crazy. It's really crazy to watch, because the mass immigration's not an accident. If I was going to destroy a country, I would do it exactly the way they're doing it.
So guys, I'll give you a quick advert on Ground News, helps the channel here, but although watch it, it tells you what's going on. If you actually go onto Ground News itself at the moment, just before Christmas, you will get 50% off, not 40% off, and it will help you check your biases. I appreciate you watching the ad. Ground News is the channel sponsor, bringing you 40% off, guys. It's a brilliant deal because what it does, it's a news comparison site bringing 60,000 articles from 50,000 sources every single day. And for each story, what they do is they bring them onto a single page, allowing you to see the full picture and check your biases. Now, the great thing about this, though, we just check on that bias comparison tab. We can see it gives us a summary of the left-leaning articles that frame Farage's campaign as an aggressive attempt to conquer Scotland, whereas the right-leaning articles conversely emphasise his party's path to success. You can see on that distribution exactly where the stories lie. Ground News is an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your world view. That is from the executive director of the Nobel Peace Centre, the guys that do that Nobel Peace Prize stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Now, I've partnered with these cats for a long time, almost a full year. They appreciate what I do and they appreciate the audience that I bring to their product. Now, listen, you're getting a better deal than me, mate. £4.40 a month. The boys be tripping out there, I'm telling you now. Hit the QR code up here. Who's the doctor they told you to go and see? Dr. FJP, bringing you the deal of the year. And apparently on Thursday, it's Migrants Day, so we have to apparently join them in celebrating something like 300 million migrants moving across Europe. As I wrote, well, there's me worrying that we wouldn't have enough people to go and fight Russia. solved it. So the real reason is that Europe cannot guarantee their own security anymore because they don't really know whether America's going to pitch up if Russia did invade. Russia can't invade, of course, we all know that. And the problem is they've been hammering the white man for so long now that there's no one that's willing to join up. They've got themselves in a real bind. This is why you're going to see them hammering patriots. They're going to be calling us all racist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever it might be. They're going to be saying that we're not patriotic. And all I do is I reply back to all these people, don't I? Like in that last video. And I just say, look, you're telling me to go to war, mate. What's your military service record? Let's get it out. Let's have a look then, shall we? So David Blagden here, who seems to be a guy that does a lot of that kind of behind the scenes defense work. You know, he's in academia and everything else, isn't he? Obviously well into his defense studies. Talks about that Telegraph article I showed you initially, guys. And he says it's reached the military service's unpatriotic, actually, phase of its descent, he's saying. You know, we know which side this guy's on, isn't it? At least they finally shed the Torygraph moniker. No genuine conservative would condone backing click fodder like this. See how he's saying that you're not a genuine conservative, mate, if you don't want to go and let your sons and daughters be killed on some cold and frosty Eastern European border no one cares about. He says here, I basically replied to him, all right, this is the first duty of a state is to protect its people. I replied, David, why don't you tell us about your patriotism? Let's start with your military record. I'm saying this from a man with 20 years military service. Do not glorify war in any shape or form. If your son or daughter are thinking about it, really have an honest conversation with them. Guys, get them to write to me, Tim at fastjetperformance.com. I will write back if there is a young person thinking about joining the military. I'm all for it. But if they're thinking about going to war with Russia on some false pretense of patriotism, then we've got it wrong. We have got it wrong. We need to be looking internally at what is wrong in this country, and it starts with the elites. You know it. I know it. Have a good Christmas, guys. Tim Davies, Fast Jet Performance.